Okay, good evening, everyone. Happy to join you all, in this presentation today. Just give me a minute. Okay, so it's good to have all of you. Let's get some sound issues sorted. Can somebody give me a shout out, that you can hear me clearly? Yeah? All good? Okay, all right. I hope everyone's had a good trading session today, and you had a very good 1st of July. Now we are basically into the first day of the second half of this calendar year, and it's a time to introspect. It's a time to look forward to what we are doing and arrive at better decision making as we move into the second half of the year, right? So into this month, the most important event which was there for calendar year 2024, the 4th of June cycle, the election cycle, that's out of the way, and that was the uncertainty which was preoccupying the market's mind from the months of March, April and May. In fact, we were building up into that event, and the markets were kind of quiet. With that event out of the way, and I had a few thoughts to express about that as well. The markets actually got led off the path by those exit poll numbers which came in early on June 3rd, but nothing which happened in the markets post that result changed the trajectory of the market, which we have been witness to from the months of November. Around that time, in the first week of November, we were doing a live audio session over here, and I remember clearly in that session also I told you a new bull market is born, new IPM and initial price move is started, right? And we built up value through the months of March, April and May in a sideways going pattern. That one day of June 3 led us into another path. The market quickly reacted to that overreaction of June 3. But if you look at the entire month of June, even though we call it a buyers dominated month, it was actually about a 2,800 point movement through the entire month of June. But 2,000 of those 2,800 points came in that first half of June 4, which I call overreaction to another overreaction. Touchwood, the market built into a long position. The market re-established that itself in that long position. A lot of money which was predominantly long at the close of June 3 had to abruptly shut off, which created that 2,000 point impulse down which we saw. But if you look at the entire activity and what the market has been doing, we were creating value around that 23,500, 23,600, and we are now at about what 24,200 rough numbers. So about a 600 point out of that 800 point 2,800 point move, roughly you can see that the market put in an additional 600, 800 points in the month of June, which is the context as we move into the month of July. Right now, I have a thing to mention over here. The event which the market look forward to, that's out, and we should look forward to a moment or a few months actually of trade which are traditionally on the bullish side, right? So we have an important election cycle, sorry, not an election cycle, we have an important budget event coming up in the 3rd week of July. I think it's about 22nd of July. We'll get firm dates on that soon. that would keep the VIX, the volatility elevated and give us some trading opportunities. But the more important event is the US election, which is there in the month of November. And traditionally speaking, the way the markets have reacted to events like this US presidential event, for this matter, the market actually tends to go bullish into this event. So what we've started off from June 4 can sustain through the months of July, August, September, and we should have a bullish momentum. And we've been seeing a lot of evidence of that in the order flow data as well, where we've seen a lot of responsive buying coming into the markets. We're seeing a lot of money which was on the sidelines by virtue of that big event of June 4, and they didn't want to put a lot of money to work in the markets because it was still an unexpected reaction of the markets. That is an election cycle, and that could have gone anywhere actually. So that money which was on the sidelines has been coming through in the month of June, and some more of it should come through in the months of July, which is why if you've been tracking the volume information on the order flow chart, you've been seeing a lot of responsive buying patterns coming up, and a lot of places where the supply which is there in the market, the normal way of supply, has been overwhelmed by a ratio of about 10:1. Right, so you're seeing some supply, but there's so much demand, and at some points in time it's 10 times the amount of supply which is traditionally there in the market, and that is creating the kind of moves we have seen in the markets today. Right, now would we see a continuation in the month of July? We let the markets talk to us through that. The market's job is to give us data, and it's this data which we interpret and which we analyze is what makes us our trades, what gives us our opportunities. And what we generally believe is we work in the market profile outlook, the market profile way of looking at things. And for us, we are not just price-based traders. Most of the work we do, in fact 95% of the work we do at Vtrender, is around volume. Now this may come as a surprise to a lot of derivatives traders, because traditionally speaking again, 95% of traders in the derivative markets are price-based traders. Now that flows from a school of thought which was established about 25-30 years back, that price is everything, and price dictates the way things happen. But no longer. The markets of today are much more faster than they were in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, even in the last decade. And you got to arm yourself with volume information of the kind which moves markets. So volume, when I say volume, I'm just talking about demand and supply, and that is the basic math of the market. If demand is higher, price has no option but to go higher, and if supply is higher, price has to drop. And demand and supply creates and works everything out which we have in the markets. But not just volume, we also have a factor called time, which impacts the way price moves. So at certain points in the day, you will see that the market is slow, quiet, stagnant. And at certain points in the day, like the morning open, the evening close, the K period, the G period, the market is a little bit more faster than it would be on other times of the day, right? And this is the kind of data which comes out of the exchanges, which comes out from the markets. So it's not just about price, it's about volume, and it's about time also. And if you've been not getting the kind of results which you expected to, especially as trading is supposed to methods of strategy to walk you through these opportunities which the markets are looking at, right? So today's session, we are not going to be looking at August, September, October. Our time frame is very clear. We are going to be looking at the possible trading opportunities which lie ahead in the 4 weeks of this new series of July. And we'll walk you through the concepts we work out of. We'll walk you through the strategies we work with. Now bear in mind, these are not price based strategies. These are price plus volume plus time, and I want to stress that again and again. We are not price based traders. We work on volume and we work with time also. So three factors: price, volume and time, and a combination of all of that put together is what we call the market's profile, which is nothing but profiling what the market is telling us, right? So talk to you more about what lies ahead in the month of July. I'm going to call my colleague Uttam, who's prepared this presentation today, and he's the one, okay, who gives us all our important data points, and he's going to be walking us through some market generated levels. These are market generated levels. That means they have been vetted by volume. That means the volume of buyers and sellers is the one, okay, which gives us these levels, not based on the movement of price, but importantly based on the impact of volume, right? So hear him out, see what he's got to say, okay, about the month of July. And as always, okay, I'll be there in the text chat. If you have any questions, okay, you can shoot them out to me, or if you do not want to, okay, chat in over here, you can always, okay, message me on Twitter as well. Happy to take your questions over there. Let's invite Uttam in. He's going to walk us, okay, through the rest of this session. Uttam, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Shai. Good evening, everyone. A quick sound check. I hope I'm audible. Great. So, as Shai mentioned, we use the concept of market profile because it gives us a three-dimensional view of the market. We have the price, we have the volumes, and we have the time factor. So all three, including the analysis which we get, is what we follow to take trading setups and look forward for that. And to do that, we have the top to bottom approach. We start with the monthly, then the weekly, and then the daily. Although we trade off the futures chart, and we look at the futures chart on a daily basis, and then look at every week settlement which the options have in Nifty futures and Bank Nifty futures. For the higher time frame, we look at the spot charts. So just when a new series starts or when a new calendar month starts, we have these monthly charts which are posted on the website, which take us through what has happened in the previous month, and also gives us important references which we should carry forward for the new month which is started. So we had a similar session at the end of May when June started, and we are looking for a big range month. One because we already had a big event which was the biggest event of this year, and then secondly because we also had a 4 month balance which was developing in the last 4 months. So we had that. You have the monthly report on screen. You can access this on the website under the forum section. So this is the previous month's report, which was the May end, and therein we had this analysis put up that on the bigger time frame we have a huge 4 month balance which has been forming. So the composite value of that 4 month was given, and we need to get some definite cues for a move away from this, which can result in a fresh imbalance. So when you are moving off a 4 month balance, you can expect the imbalance also to be of a bigger magnitude. So the higher the time the market consolidate, bigger is the move away from it. But for every move away, we need to get definite cues. And what we do is we watch the market profile, and according to that, we see how the value is forming on a daily basis, and then take the important levels. So what we do in the report is we attach a daily market profile chart of that particular month. So you can see how this is the June series month. So after the first two huge days we had, the first day was not a big day, but it was a gap up. And because of the exit poll, after which the 4th of June gave us that huge drop of 2000 points, but that happened inside the G period, and the G period left a responsive buying tail. So since then, made a slow trending move higher for the rest of the month. So what we do is when even when we are watching the higher time frame, we look at a daily market profile charts to see how value is formed on a daily basis, and from there we take cues like where is the POC, where are the POCs of each profile. So any POC which is not tagged and the market is moving higher, that gives us a fresh base, and we take it as a fresh base, and then we look for the auction to continue in the same direction. So as you can see, once we form this POC on 5th of June, which is a 22234 22334, we continue to leave VPOCs on the upside. So there is no day where we have left a VPOC higher and come down, like we have formed value lower after the 5th of June. So it was very clear on the daily chart that we are trending higher and we just need to be patient. Whatever dips were coming in were getting bought. Yes, there was a small phase where we used to form a balance, but at no point of time we formed lower value on the daily time frame. Either it was a balance or it was higher values. So that is how we see using market profile, and value area is a very important part of market profile. It constitutes about 68% of the volume which is traded when we are talking about the futures chart. In spot, we don't have the volume, but we go by the spot TPO charts. So what we do is a small analysis. So if I open the monthly chart, this you can see is the 4-month balance which we were talking about at the end of May. And in the opening 2 days, we swiped through this balance. We went down and then we left this big responsive tail. We again went back up and then we broke above this composite high. So from failed moves come fast moves. This is a very important thing which Shai keeps repeating in the room, trading room. And when we saw that the attempt to move lower from this composite was failed. Why did it fail? Because we saw rejection here in form of a responsive buying tail. So when you get a failed move in one direction, there is a very good chance that the auction will move in the opposite direction. And how do we know it is successful in the opposite direction? Because once it takes out the highs of the opposite reference, it will sustain above that. So that is what happened. I will open up the profile chart and show you the references there. So just to quickly take you to what all is there in the post, we talk about how the profile is formed, and we have this small analysis which we need to take forward. We have an elongated 2898 point range profile with a close around the highs. So this was a bullish profile and it has moved away from the 4-month composite high of 23110. So this 23110 is now a swing reference, not just for this month, but also for the rest of the year. And then we have this pullback, a halfback of 7th June 23054. I'll show that to you on the monthly chart which we open on market profile, and immediate support being the VPOC of 23940. This also I will show you on the daily profile chart. So these are the references we carry forward, and we have the July rollover point. Rollover point is nothing but the volumes which the highest volume which come in the close of an expiry day. So on an expiry day, for example, when the June series was getting over, we are getting fresh volumes in the July series. So we look at maximum volumes which come in the last 45 minutes of the Thursday, the expiry day, and arrive at that rollover point. So this month's rollover point in Nifty is at 24110. So this will be an important reference both in spot as well as futures. So as long as we are above this, we will look to be bullish, and below this we will look to be bearish. So this is the first reference, which is the rollover point. Then comes the POC and VWAP of the June series. The POC of June is at 23536. So this will be one important reference. We will have to stay above this and form value higher on the monthly time frame for us to remain bullish in July. So, and we will also see what auction happened today, and accordingly uh, have a view for this week, and then we'll carry forward the same to the next 3 weeks. So the June's value area is given, and there is one more important reference which we carry forward, which is the series VWAP. So we have these monthly zones put up just under the chart, and these spell out the references which we need. The rollover point is clearly mentioned at 24110. The VWAP is at 23247, and the POC is at 23535. So these three references are what we'll take forward, and these are the immediate references. And the lower swing reference I've already mentioned is that 23110, where we have broken away. So I'll quickly open up the spot chart. This is the monthly spot chart, and what I have done is I have just split the profile. So this is the 4-month composite from where we have moved away. And if you split the monthly chart, what it gives you is the daily, it divides it into the daily charts. So now here we can see once we came back above this value, we didn't go back in. This was the C, which is the 5th of June. So this 5th of June was an important cue because we have closed above this value area high of that 4-day. So after this, then once we took off this composite high in the E, which was 7th of June, and which is why this 7th of June halfback, which is at 23054, which is given in the report, will be one very important reference for the coming month as well as the rest of the year. So 23054 and this 23110 will be our major support zone for Nifty spot. And then as we go higher, we have this VWAP and the POC of the month. And then if I just take off today's profile, what we have done is we have closed at the highs, and our immediate reference would be this halfback from 27th of June, which has also been given 23946. So whenever we are getting bullish bars on any time frame, be it the daily, monthly, or even 30 minutes, the reference which the daily that particular bar gives, which can be the halfback or the POC or the 30-minute, even the VWAP, are important support on demand or resistance levels. So this in case this case, this 23946 is going to be a support for us. So as long as we are not breaking this, we can look for more upside in the coming days. So if we break this, the next support we will look at the lower halfback, which is of 26, which is at 23780. So accordingly, we will look at how the auction is shaping up in Nifty on a daily basis. Although we are looking at the monthly chart, we will look at these references at what happens daily. For example, today we remained above this 23946 level. We made a low of 23992. And what we did was we did not stay below this for us because we had a close below this 24079. If you see the report, we had this as a business spot hypo on the upside. So once we got about this 24079, it was no longer a resistance point. So now we what we have done today is formed a P-shaped profile, but it is in narrow range one. So we will need to see how it goes forward because we have not yet been able to take off the highs of June. So, and the good bullish point of today is we remained above that rollover point, and we have formed uh, value above the monthly value. This is only on the monthly time frame. So if we open up the weekly, we have a similar report which goes out on the weekly every week, which when it closes the calendar week, just like how we have a monthly report, a weekly report goes out. So on the weekly report, what we do is we divide them into the days, 5 days, and we have them marked of what each day did, and then we have a small write up about what the day week was. So in this chart, you can see what Nifty did in the previous week. We have this weekly value where Nifty made an attempt to move lower from this weekly value, but we took support right at that previous VPOC, which the VPOCs are important references. The virgin POCs or naked POCs are POCs which have not been tagged, and in future they serve as important support or resistance point. So if this VPOC is not been broken, you can expect that the buyers are coming back in this zone and you can expect the trend to go up. Same on the upside. If a VPOC on the higher side is being stalled or the auction is not able to get above that, you can assume that the sellers are present in that zone and they will want to reverse the auction to the downside. In any case, if this POC was broken and we sustained below this POC, then we would have looked for lower levels on the weekly time frame. So the Nifty spot last week has made a trending profile on the upside after opening lower, rejecting this move away from value. So you can see how this also, just like what we did on the monthly time frame, we failed in this move lower and then we went on to trend higher. So this failed move again gave us a very good move on the upside. and we formed higher value on all 5 days of the week. You can see the POC is also forming higher on all 5 days. So it was a trend up profile, and this is the weekly chart, which we can see it is an elongated profile, but the POC is overlapping to the previous week's POC. So on the spot chart, we don't have volumes. So what we do is we go with the POC. So the POC will serve as our support for the reference for the next week. So if we stay above the POC, we are bullish. If we stay below that, we are bearish. And then we look at what has happened on the daily time frame and accordingly look for references. So on the weekly report, you can see we have a link to that weekly chart, and then we have the hypos marked out for every day in the new week. So we had these hypos put up for today, and accordingly we have also a description which is given for each hypo, which we get on the basis of market profile references. So we can see how we took support at the first hypo on the downside. We were not able to tag this 23940, and then we made a probe higher. In the higher probe, we were not able to take off this selling tail from 28th of June. It was a very small selling tail, but nonetheless, it was showing us that the demand is dried up in that zone. So it has to take off that 24174 level of previous week and show us some buy side signal for us to turn bullish, completely bullish in Nifty spot. So this is the weekly spot chart, and as I showed you, we can split them into the daily chart, and this is how we have formed higher value from the last 5 days. And today, for the first time, what has happened is we formed overlapping value. So when we are getting overlapping value, market is telling us that the auction is now in a balance. So entire of last week, when we are forming higher value, we knew that it is a clear trend up. So now we'll have to wait and watch what will happen tomorrow. Only important cue which is left, which tells us that the market may resume the upside, is this A period buying tail which we have got today. So we can also combine these two profiles to get a composite of the 2 days and take this as a reference for tomorrow. So if we stay above this 24150 on spot, we will be bullish, and below 24065 we would be bearish, and we can look for a tag for this 23950 VPOC. So that is how we will take the July month day on day. We will see what is happening daily, and accordingly put up the fresh levels which we need to watch every day. And these levels are all reported in the weekly report. This spot chart gets updated daily, and you will have the dates for the rest of the week. 2nd of July would be posted before the market opens tomorrow. Accordingly, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So this spot report gets updated daily, and you can accordingly look for the fresh levels which we need to watch on the spot chart. So this is as far as the spot is concerned. Let's have a quick look at the Nifty futures daily profile chart, because as we mentioned, it is very important for us to note the volumes, and the volumes we note is not below the bar, but the volumes next to the level, next to the bar. So we give lot of importance to where the highest volume is being forming. So as I said, the value area is 68% of the volumes which are formed, and the POC, the point of control, is the level where you have the highest volumes of the day. So on Friday, we had the volume POC at 24131, and today we have the volume POC at 24204. So this helps us to understand what reference we need to take for the coming session. So tomorrow, if we sustain above this POC of 24204, we will understand that they are good buyers over here who came in today at the close, and they want to probe this, take this auction higher. And if we are opening and staying above this POC and value, then this VWAP will become our reference. VWAP is important when we get some initiative activity in that profile. So here we have this initiative buying which is seen, and till as long as this A period buying tail is defended, we can look for the buyers to remain in control. But yes, the VWAP will have to be defended. Whenever we are getting a dip, we need to see some responsive buying activity coming in that level. That will give us that confirmation that this buyer, initiative buyer, is still controlling the auction. and then we will have to form a range extension on the upside. And as we are doing it, we'll also need to see that value wise we are sustaining above the previous value, because only when we are above previous value we can say that the trend is continuing on the upside. If we are forming overlapping or lower value, then we will not look at be remaining long or look for long trades in the auction. So what are the important references in the Nifty futures chart? So what we have done is we have had this trend day. 25th of June was one swing low. We had also got an FA at this level. So we have one anchored VWAP which is marked at that. You have these green dotted lines, the KRLs, which are anchored VWAPs, which you can add at important references on the daily chart. Whenever you are having a new swing low on a daily time frame, you can start having a anchored VWAP from that level, and that anchored VWAP gives us important zones. If that being is defended, it will tell us that the buyer is still in control. So this is what we want to follow is not just price, but we want to follow volume based price levels, which is what market profile gives us. So now that we are above the this profile, this VPOC is our lower reference along with this anchored VWAP from that trend day of 26th. So as long as this is holding, we would look for the auction to continue higher. And now we have got a fresh reference in term of this A period buying tail. So tomorrow, if you're opening above this POC and we again give some initiative signal here on the buy side, we will definitely be bullish and we will look for range extensions on the upside. So the future chart is covered in our daily report. We have a daily report also which goes out and is updated in the forum section. And because we trade off the futures and even take the option trades based on the future signals, it is very important for us to know what the future references are. So this is as far as the Nifty spot is concerned. I'll take a quick break in case there are any questions which related to what we have covered so far. So once we finish with that, we can move on to the Bank Nifty spot and the futures chart. So in case there are any questions, you can please shoot them. Fine. So as there are no queries, let us then just move on to the Bank Nifty spot. So similar to the Nifty, we have the Bank Nifty reference given here. We have the monthly close, and then we have what we did in the last month. The last month analysis is given, and then we have the daily profile chart of the Bank Nifty spot. So here again we can see how after the first day was the gap down which got gap up which got rejected. We left a VPOC on the higher side, and then we made a big huge, I think 4,000 point move the next day. And it was more like a B-shaped profile. It was a long liquidation profile. So Bank Nifty was not as bullish as Nifty, at least at the in the opening week. And then the very next day we formed overlapping value. So it was only when we formed higher value on the 5th and left this VPOC, we could say that Bank Nifty can move higher. But Bank Nifty was still more of a balance, because you can see the next week we had almost 6 days of balance. After this 6 day, this 16th of June gave us that move with this initiative buying tail that it wants to move away from this composite balance. And then we went on to move higher, take off this high, make new highs for the month, and then we left another POC. I will come to the daily chart and I'll show you how beautifully market profile gives us these references, because the opening high in June was 51133, and when we broke that high out on 19th of June, we formed a POC on the daily chart right at that 51133 level. 51136 is the POC, and that POC was not visited again. Even the last week when we made that lower open, the lows of last Monday was just above that POC of 51136. I think we made a low of 51139. So that was telling us that this VPOC is being defended. That means the buyer is holding this zone. And from there we went on to trend higher, although we did see some exhaustion coming in on 27th where we made similar highs, and then closed the month with a trend day down, which was more of profit booking rather than fresh selling, because value wise we only had found overlapping value for the 3 days, and this VPOC of the trend day of 25th was still holding. So as long as this 52071 holds in Bank Nifty, we are still looking for the balance, the upside to resume. We are still looking at this consolidation as a pause. So a small write-up is given. We can see how it hit a new ATH of 51133 on the first day of the month, but it got rejected. It confirmed a weekly failed auction, which gave us that huge 4,589 points drop the very next day. And what we did on the monthly time frame is we had responsive. Shai had mentioned how we the a fresh IPM started late last year in November, and from since then we have been trading higher, although value on some months have been overlapping. Whenever we have got a dip, that had been bought, so that is the reason we have had responsive buying tails in all the months of Bank Nifty in March, April, May. So May and April, these responsive buying tails were uh, broken in that election results day on June 4th. But what we did was we took support just above the monthly profile of responsive tail of March. I'll just show that on the monthly time frame. So this is the monthly profile chart of Bank Nifty. So we'll just see how the BTPO, which was the 4th of June, broke this responsive buying tail of May and then the responsive buying tail of April, and stopped short just above this responsive buying tail of March. So this was at 46022 and we made a low of 46077. So this was how on the monthly time frame we were taking support at an important reference. And then when we looked at the weekly chart, so this is the Bank Nifty weekly profile. So when we look at the weekly chart of that particular week, we can see how the day we made those lows, this is the weekly profile chart from the 3rd of 7th of June, where we had the two big days of the 3rd and 4th. So here you can see it's 46438 was this weekly POC from 18th March. 18th to 22nd March is the profile, and this VPOC had not been tagged ever since. So we were slowing. So this was an important support because this was a POC which was not been tagged. So when this was broken, immediately it got back above this POC. And on the monthly profile, you can see the next day it gave us a failed auction on the daily time frame right at that level. This is sorry, this low of C is right at 46440 where we had the weekly VPOC. So and we when we got a failed auction here, failed auction is a very important setup in market profile which gives us good swing references. So that failed auction gave us more confirmation that now we have a buying tail plus the sellers have failed, so we are looking to go higher. And then slowly we have just continued higher, and what we did was when we took out this highs, the highs of the this month, the June month, which was at 51133, we never came back below this. So this is one extension handle for us. The 51133 level is an extension handle. This low which was made was 51138. So and we continue to trend higher, and after we took support, this support was validated in this low of O, which was done on 24th of June, which is last Monday, which is not too long back. So whenever we get these kind of bullish bars, the halfback of these days are important references. So this 51460 would remain one important support in Bank Nifty for this month, for the month of July. And above that, this highs of L, which was at 51957, because on the monthly chart we can see it has left an extension handle. This PTPO has just moved away and no other TPO has come back to touch this level. So we have this extension handle at 51957. And then on the upside, what we did was we have left a small responsive selling tail for now. So it is telling us that the profit booking is come in Bank Nifty, and we didn't close at the highs in June. We have closed away from the highs. This STPO was a trend day down. So this halfback of the STPO, which is at 52636, is our reference. So you can see how today's auction has stalled right at that reference. So this is how we combine the higher time frame with the immediate info data, and then accordingly look for good setups, and also come to a view about the what the market is trying to do, and then based on the current day's auction, analyze and figure out whether the auction is doing a good job in what it is trying to do or not. So here we will have to take this level out to be bullish. And as in Nifty, we saw we have got this A period buying tail. A period tail is called an initiative tail because it has come right at the open. It is not just the open of the day, it is open of the week also today, and the open of a new month. So it gives extra importance. So in case we are holding this tail, as long as this buying tail is held, we will be bullish for the week, for the month. So we will, but apart from that, we will also have to get more confirmation that the buyers are forming higher value on the daily time frame, on the weekly time frame, and accordingly take levels, latest references, and look forward. So just quickly shifting to the weekly chart, you can see how this balanced profile gave way to this huge imbalance, and this was previous week's profile, and previous week profile again we opened below this POC. If I enlarge this, this is the last week profile. Just like how we saw in Nifty, we opened below this POC, we made an attempt lower, but we could not break that 51136 level. So if I unmerge this profile into daily charts, you can see how beautifully this A period low is right at this VPOC of 51136. So this is how it is important for us to have references of all the time frame, and which is why we take the bottom top to bottom approach. So once this was defended, what was the next confirmation we needed? We needed this J to make range extension on the upside, which it did. And now what we got on the weekly was a trend up profile, but again, similar to previous week, it is more like a composite P-shaped profile. We have not closed at the highs, and the POC is right up at 52904. So this is very clear case of profit booking which has happened in Bank Nifty. And today's open, which opened lower, we have tested this extension handle which was at 52188, and then we have again formed a fresh buying tail there. So that means the demand has been here, and we have come back into this value. So it looks likely that we are going back to test this POC of 52904 in the coming days. But as I said, we'll take it on a day-to-day basis. So for tomorrow, our reference would be this POC of 52558. And as I mentioned, as I showed you guys on the monthly chart, we will need to take off that halfback. So if we take a quick look at the daily profile chart of Bank Nifty, and that Vtrender, as Shai already mentioned, we give a lot of importance to volume. We want the volume to be higher when we are expecting a move away or a higher range expansion from any kind of a level. So we always look for volume confirmation and not under the bar but at the level. So that is why we follow the order flow and we see what order flow is doing at important levels, and accordingly look for good trades. I'll give you a very quick example today later, just before we wrap up, of today's order flow chart and how we got responsive buying both in Nifty and Bank Nifty futures, which helped us to stay on the bias on the upside today. So this is the Bank Nifty spot daily profile chart. You can see you have formed overlapping value on the last 3 days of this previous week. So if you combine these 3 days, we will get this value area low. So this value area is low is where uh, we have been stalling. And today, if you see, we have formed mostly lower value compared to this 3 day composite. So we will have to remain above this composite, take off this high, and then we are looking good for a tag for this 52904 POC in Bank Nifty spot. And on the downside, if we remain below this POC, it will be a kind of a neutral start, because we have not been able to take off this. We can look for the profile to smoothen this zone till this low. But in case we break this A period singles, then the Bank Nifty can look, we can look for Bank Nifty probing lower, and the targets would be these VPOCs 52071 and this initiative buying tail which we have, and then a move into this 3 day composite and the tag of this VPOC of 51627. So we, that is the reason we have this market profile chart open when we are trading live, so that we know what the auction is doing and what will be the references in that direction. So this is how we are placed in Bank Nifty spot. We have these spot hypos also given in the Bank Nifty also, just like how we saw in Nifty. We have the weekly chart. We have, these were today's hypos, and you can see this extension handle which I was talking to you about, 52188, which is where we took support and we made a low today. I think 52166 was the opening low. From there we got back into that profile, and we have taken off this extension handle of the trend day, and then we were continuously tagging at this 3 day value area low of 620. So this will have to, what we have done today is we have given a selling tail here. This 620 is a selling tail here, which we will have to take off tomorrow. So if we sustain in this value and remain above this POC, we have a very good chance of tagging this 52904 uh, POC, the prominent POC. So this is how we are placed in spot. A quick look at the profile chart of Bank Nifty. And before that, I'll just quickly show you the order flow chart of Nifty futures. And let's go with the 30-minute, because so I'm closing this for now, but the 10 bar caught also was helping us to remain in sync for a long bias. So as you can see, the 915 TPO is the 8 TPO, and here when we probe lower, when we went below previous lows, we formed an RB bar. The POC shifted lower and we went on to close on the upside, and this POC and the VWAP held on for the entire day. So which is why we were bullish for the day, because the VWAP was held all day, and we made, although they were marginal range extensions, we continued to make higher highs. So which is why order flow is that in volume information, which is very important, which tells us how we need to be biased for the day. A quick look at the Bank Nifty daily profile chart. And as I mentioned, in Bank Nifty futures, the extension handle which we had at 52188 in spot was at this 52330 in futures from the 25th of June. So you can see how we left an A period buying tail right at that level. So which was telling us that the demand of this day is holding this auction. So which is why we need to uh, watch, need to make note of important references, important zones, especially on days where we have got initiative activity. So this was a day where we had initiative activity, just like today we have left this A period buying tail, and we have also moved away from this 3 day balance. So once we get this, we also take the anchored VWAP from this particular day, and that also remains a support zone for us as the auction progresses. So just like what we did in spot, we can combine these 3 days because they have overlapping value, and the 3-day overlapping composite is this. So you can see how at the open, the initial balance, we were stalling right at that value area low, which was at 52680 692. So the B period high was right there, but once we got into it in the E, we remained mostly above this value area low, although we were not able to get to this POC. We have the 80% rule on because this is a nice balance. Entry into this value means we will be tagging this POC and the value area high. So why we were not able to tag this POC is because we have some selling from this day of Friday. And you can see we had already left a swing high in Bank Nifty on 27th of June. So I have this anchored VWAP marked from that day, and this anchored VWAP for today was at 52798. So you can see how we have been stalling right at that level, and that this zone is not giving us a buy side signal as of now. So it could be that there is some selling and that selling is being absorbed by the buyers, or it could be the selling is forcing the demand to come out. So whatever the case is, for today we have this A period tail and we have formed overlapping to lower value. So our reference would be this VWAP, which is also the rollover point in Bank Nifty. 52830 is the rollover point of July. So this will be our reference for tomorrow. If we get above this, a move to this would be a breeze, and then we will look at what will happen in order flow at this level of 53047, because we have had a supply side signal in order flow at that level, and I'll show that to you in order flow chart. Again, we will go with the 30-minute order flow, and I'll shift that to the Bank Nifty. So we made a high of 53,050 on Friday. So I'll just show you how beautifully the highs was marked by exactly the same level which we had left on Thursday. So as you can see, the high we made on Friday was 53050. And why was this related? If I just take you back to the Thursday's profile, and where we saw some good profit booking coming in because we left this responsive selling tail, and then you can see this POC which came in the GTPO right at 5350. You have a big 800 lot seller, and from here we continue to probe lower. So this level, this seller held ground when it came back to that 53050 level on Friday at open. You can see both the A and B period highs were right there, but when it was not able to take out this level, it had no option but to go lower and test the lower levels, which it did. It went on to make lower lows for most of the TPOs. 52550 was one important buy side level where it looked to take support, but that also closed in a spike. And today, if you see, we are talking about the extension handle from the 25th of June. So I'll just take you back to that level, so that the reason we use a combination of market profile and order flow is because it gives us cluster clear levels, and we can see what is happening at those levels. So this is that 25th June extension handle, and VPOC of 52242, and we have this VWAP at 52327, and after which we made this low, but there was hardly any volumes here. So again we can take this reference of 52347 on the downside, and today's low at the open was right there, and at the same level of 52347 we got this big buyer who entered, and this buyer we could see on the 3-minute time frame, and it came up in the, I think, the first 12 minutes of the day's auction. So once that buyer came in, we were all buyers on the upside, and we are looking for a probe back into this composite and towards this VPOC. But because we consistently And as I showed you how we were stalling at that value area low of 52692 in the IB, and once that was taken out in the E period, we remained above VWAP for the rest of the day, but this upside probe was getting us RS. So what needs to change tomorrow is we'll need to get some acceptance above this 52830 level, and then we can look for a probe to this and that 53050, which will again be one supply point, and which will have to get negated by buy side volumes in order flow for us to remain bullish above that 53,050 level. So that is how we make use of the information of market profile and order flow, and make use of higher references using the spot charts, and take it day by day. So the June month has started with the probable buying tail at the lows, but it is still early days. We are still in the first day. So we will need to see how this shapes up. And we also have an important event in form of the budget later on. And we can expect uh, it to be bullish if we continue forming higher value, and then take it as per the latest information on the daily time frame which we get. So that's it for today, guys, from my side. In case there are any queries, I'll be happy to answer them before we can wind up for the day. So you can also get in touch with us. You can mail us at support@vtrender.com, or you can ping me on Twitter. X, my ID is at Uttam Goel. We'll be happy to answer any queries regarding the setups we use, the sessions we take, so that all of us can learn and grow together. So thank you guys for joining in. That's it for today, and we'll be back with some more informative sessions, and we will also do a follow-up session of this the coming Monday, where we will have a much clearer view of how the July month is shaping up as per the weekly chart. So let's hope for a wonderful July series, and let's be in sync and make use of it together. Thank you for joining in. Signing off for now.